I know that I'm more than that, and other people should know that too. And I know that you're more than that. I know that Andy and James are more than that, and even DPR Jones is a little bit more than that, although not too much more. Yeah. So it kind of galls me to be known as an atheist when it's never how I introduce myself. I imagine most YouTube atheists don't say, when they're asked what they do, they refute God. They'll probably say, I'm a scientist or a musician or an artist, something like that. And I simply find it a little bit galling to be lumped into a reputational intellectual stance that I'm only taking on because a lot of people are very stupid and very vocal. It's like they've made me into a YouTube atheist. Otherwise, I'd just be some guy. How dare?
John, can I ask you a quick question?
Yeah, go for it.
Do you think it's possible to change the name from YouTube atheist to something like YouTube skeptic? Do you think that's a viable thing to attempt?
No, I don't think it would be possible or viable to attempt unless you managed to get the big players, some people like Thunderfoot, to actually force it on people. But even then, it wouldn't, because all these people are known as atheists, basically, even if they're primarily into science. These people are known as atheists because the most popular videos are the ones refuting people like Ken Hovind, and even when, say, Andromeda's Wake or Thunderfoot make their videos which are on a scientific basis, the people that they're refuting are still, they're only talking their ridiculously attenuated versions of science in order to prove God. So even if you use science to disprove what a theist is saying, it automatically becomes atheism because you're just smacking down theism, which is using the guise of pseudoscience. So no, it wouldn't work at all. People would still identify atheists as YouTube atheists rather than skeptics because that's simply what they want. And unfortunately, we're going to have to go with what the masses think. We've just proved here that 75% of people think it's a good thing. The little guy has to step aside.
Well, can I jump in with just sort of a thought on how words change meaning over time? I mean, obviously we're all in agreement that the word atheism, whatever it means more than, well, it doesn't encapsulate the entirety of what a particular person who might adopt that label is, right? So atheism doesn't speak to the entirety of a person, but it does speak to certain things in the public's mind. And whatever those things are, positive or negative, if they're going to change, it's not the word that's going to change. It's going to be the perception of the meaning of that word. And the only way for the perception of the meaning of that word to change is through dialogue and interaction. So if people are going to come to understand atheism to mean something more than the negative things that we are saying that it is, it's going to be through having the label and people being able to see that all atheists, as we said, aren't baby eating, amoral, drug snorting people. Although if you're going to do those things, you might as well be an atheist, right? But I mean, the only way to really the only viable solution, I think, as far as history goes, is that the perception of the label changes, not the label itself.
I concede your point. I retract my previous statement. YouTube atheism is a go. We've got 100% on the panel.
Wow, 100%. Fantastic.
Yeah,
But I think we're going to have to use, I think that's a good point. We're going to have to use, if we want to make atheism not a dirty word, we've got to keep using it until it stops being a dirty word, right?
Yeah. Unfortunately, it's going to be difficult purely because most atheists are, as I said, going after the big guns, like the Hovinds and the Hams and the William Lane Craigs, and they're the people that have the most fervent and zealotic followers. So to a lot of people, atheists are people who attack their heroes. You've seen the actions of some of the William Lane Craig fanboys recently. It's awe-inspiring how far people will go to protect their shattered idols. going back to the YouTube atheist thing, as I said, I agree with the pros of it. It was simply my own little kind of, I guess, personal dislike of it and how it lumps everybody into a homogenous group. But I am a YouTube atheist. I clearly can't argue too much against it and being lumped in with other people because I am, and I make no effort to break away from that. So let's have it. We're YouTube atheists, 100%.
100%. We're 100% YouTube atheists. Hopefully everyone in the chat agrees with that. You've all just been labelled against your will.
This is a historic moment, actually, because I don't think I've ever conceded a point on YouTube in debate before. I've never retracted, ever.
You've never debated me, so there you have it.
My God,
and I'll tell you what, James can
sure
play devil's advocate, so be careful there. I'm sure he could do a much better job of defending William Lane Craig than Rational Response Guy does, although I know that's not saying much.
But, I think small rocks could do a better job of defending William Lane Craig. Things that live under rocks, things in toilets could do a better job. Dead people could do a better job than Rational Response Guy.
That's true. Okay, I'm going to turn a page now. We're going to get off the notes about YouTube Atheist and the label, and we're going to just jump straight into the most controversial topics. I think we've sharpened our fangs a little bit on the controversy surrounding the label, but let's think about the cause. This is something that I'm really interested to hear you guys talk about. If there is such a thing as a YouTube atheist community, we'll get onto that. Is there a cause? Is there a group, a collective goal? Andy, what do you think?
Yes, I'm going to go with yes. At least there seems to be, to me, right? Like I said, a lot of people that call themselves YouTube atheists or are labeled YouTube atheists have, a lot of shared values. It seems to me that that's almost a prerequisite in some circumstances, like freedom of speech, for example. We've all kind of banded together and, tried to fight the false flagging, false DMCA, vote botting. Those are certainly causes. If you're using the strict definition of atheism, which I don't think we are anymore anyway, there really can't be a cause. But definitely, the community, if you want to call it that, has banded together to do certain things.
Okay. I can't really disagree with what you said so far. James, what do you reckon?
Yeah, I would agree with that. Perhaps as a community, maybe. I know that on an individual level, that my motivations are probably quite different in a lot of respects. But I think that it can be said that we are all sort of behind certain things, and we've really done well at policing our own on those issues. But as far as maybe an IRL goal, hopefully maybe there's something to it. Something a bit more reasonable than sometimes takes place on YouTube.
Yeah, so as atheists, we generally find ourselves to be better informed about things, perhaps, and there's a need to bring people to become better informed in the real world, or the mass of people out there that's voting on things and setting things like ethics and morality. Triumph, what do you think? What do you think? Is there a cause? And if so, any idea what it might be?
I think clearly there is some kind of cause. Otherwise, there wouldn't be so many people earnestly and dedicatedly, and in some cases vehemently, dedicating themselves to much the same kind of argument against the same core of a few dozen or so people. Really, that's all it really is. It's either particular aspects of religion or theism in the abstract, or it's particular people. And obviously, we've all mentioned the same half dozen or so. It would be Ham, Hovind, William Craig, Comfort, Cameron, those guys. They're the most well known. And obviously, I don't even know if it's specifically to do with breaking down religion and theism, because my issue has always been with people that take it outside their heads and make it personal to me. I don't I can't get people who are religious in any sense. I mean, I don't know if that will insult or offend people watching or listening or whatever. I personally don't understand how you can be any kind of theist in any sense, whether it's hard or soft. And, I just said hard and soft, which is quite funny.
I know that, and I'm going to write it down.
Indeed. However,